Hello and welcome back to another episode of Veach season. Episode 397? Episode 397, I think.
Sounds about right.
Something along those lines. We are your guest hosts, Magaña and Kramer Sansone, once again sitting in for Chiefs General Manager Brett Veach, who was preoccupied with the first week of training camp up there in St. Joe. Really just trying to build this contender to three-peat. Really just he called us up the other day. Usually he hits us up on our group text with a tweet that says like a text message that says like, hey guys, can you guys just do me a solid and sit in for me today? But with it being such an important week, he called us on a conference call and he said, Rocky and Kramer, like I really wanted to be there this week, but if you just help me out for one more week, I'd really appreciate it. I owe you guys. I love what you do with the show. Big fan. One of these days he'll be a long-time listener, first-time caller. Hopefully into the show to host his own show. But until that day, we're going to continue to hold down the fort for El Capitan Bretino Vicho. That's his name in Spanish. Don't look it up. But until then, it's me, Rocky Magaña. You're stuck with me, Rocky Magaña, and my main boy, Kramer Sansone. And today, guys, we have a huge guest, the biggest name in Chiefs Kingdom, the preeminent film guru, the sheriff, the top cop of them all, Ron Kopp Jr. from Arrowhead Pride and Foolish Club Media, here with us today to break down the first week of camp and everything we're doing. Ron, what's good with it, my homeboy?
Yes, sir. Oh my gosh, ready to run through a brick wall, man. I'm ready to. I'm fired up, Rocky. You got to do some like intros for something like wrestling or something. I mean, Kramer's got the hookup, so I don't know.
Good point.
You got those intros down. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard anyone use the word preeminent more. But I'm gonna roll with it because I appreciate it. Preeminent.
It's one thing.
It's one thing I special learned. Word.
Yeah, it's a very special word. It's one thing I learned with the political cycle that we're currently in is if you say something enough times, people believe it's true. So just keep on saying it. And my therapist says that feelings, actions, and thoughts are all like tied together, right? And they kind of go one hand in hand. So so we're just gonna speech, thoughts, and feelings. They all go hand in hand. So we're gonna speak it, feel it, and then do it, right? And then we'll just make it. We'll make it true. Yeah, let's do it. Shout out, 100%. But top of the show, as we always do, I got to ask you, my boy Kramer. What's hot with Kramer Dog?
So I know last week we teased it out there that NCAA 25 dropped. You know what?
Yes.
Your boy got his hands on it on Friday. Been playing it. Probably have about a day's worth of time already trying to build up New Mexico State, the Aggies. I'm trying to, build a 1-star up to being a 4-star. I'll let you know, this game plays so smooth. I love it, even though it's some crazy interceptions happening, fumbles happening. Heck, I've been blocking kicks for once. It's ridiculous. Also, it's just fun. It's college football. There's no defense whatsoever. I'll tell you what, Rocky, I hate the fact that you don't have time to play this game. But you need to somehow at some point find a way to play this game because it is absolutely fantastic.
Have you played it yet, Ron?
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm in the same boat as Kramer Dog over here. I've been Friday night was a very long night. A very, very long night making San Jose State, trying to build them up. So yeah, we're both West Coast, Kramer. We're both kind of in. I don't know if they're. I don't think same conference though. I don't think they're the same conference. Yeah.
The beautiful thing about those colleges are you get to recruit both California and Texas, being geographically located there. That's perfect.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. And San Jose, you got the palm trees in the back, the football stadium, you got the beach not too far away, I'm sure. I'm banking on that for recruiting because they didn't start out too well, but that's the whole point. You want to build them up. Shout out. I will say though, KU is way too good in that game. KU is nasty. I did kind of start playing with them just because they're a better team, and my gosh, like Devin Neal is unfair and like literally unfair in that game.
Unstoppable. It's ridiculous actually.
It's a far cry from the last time there was an NCAA game that came out.
Yeah,
where
right.
Kansas was not unstoppable by any means. And boys, I was in Target yesterday with my 3-year-old, picking up a long laundry list of household items that my wife sent me to go get.
Oh boy.
And I had to walk past the electronics section, and I saw the big display of NCAA football, and my son said, "Daddy, what is that?" And I said, "That is the pinnacle of human achievement, son. That is every dream we've ever had all rolled into one small little container. That is everything that I want for you and for me for our lives that is currently unattainable. Now let's go and buy another box of diapers for your little brother." And that's what we did instead of buying NCAA football. But someday, me and my son will play it together for our school that we're starting, Kramer.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
Our NCAA football.
I forgot about that.
Cool, right? Where we educate children through playing NCAA football.
Yep.
But yeah, no, Kramer, dude, that's awesome. I am pretty jealous of both you guys. I feel like part of me just wants to go buy the game, and then I'll just play like one game every 5 weeks, and eventually I'll get through an entire season after like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. But I'll be able to say, "Oh yeah, I play NCAA football. I'm with it, guys. I'm cool. I'm still hip. I got the 4-1-1."
It's so fun, Rocky. Like it really is. It's crazy.
I created my own school as well. The Stormtroopers. It's not the university or anything. It's the Stormtroopers, Blastum University. And I'll tell you what, the customization on that thing, fantastic. I have a gray turf field to make it look like you're playing on the Death Star. Pretty sick, actually. I'm telling you, it's phenomenal.
If you send me those screen grabs, it looks pretty sick.
It's wild. It's so good.
Yeah, I've yet to use that feature. That sounds awesome.
I mean, if you could make any university, what would it be, Ron?
Make a university.
Yeah, make a university.
Whenever I think of a fake university, I either think of that movie. Oh my gosh, I can't think of what it's called. They make the fake university SHIT, right? Southampton Institute of Technology. Yeah. So Southampton Institute of Technology, probably. SHIT, great acronym. And then or Balso Hard University. Shout out to Terrell Suggs, former Super Bowl champ. So I don't know. Balso Hard University sounds kind of fun, right?
I like Balso Hard University. You do Balls Deep University, as
True.
well. That's another one.
That logo, I mean, it might get a little interesting,
Let's have yeah. I mean,
what's that midfield for that team? Just
2 balls and then like just regular footballs side by side.
Yeah,
and then but the way that they're like stationed, and then it just like cuts off so you can't see.
It should be like
right. Like it's just the 2 balls because if your ball's deep, then you don't see anything else. It's just the balls.
True.
Right. So just 2 footballs kind of leaned against each other in the shape of something that
like balls.
Like balls. 2 balls leaned against each other like balls do.
If you're so deep, the whole entire field should be covered. Really, like you shouldn't be able to. It should be. The logo should take up the whole field. So I mean, maybe.
funny you mentioned that. You can actually basically put an entire logo on the entire field.
Oh my gosh, I'm staying up so late tonight.
It's gonna make Balls Deep University, Scrotum Tech.
I'll report back.
Call it.
I'll report back. There's a few ways you could go there.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I just want to like go online and just design football fields. I know I'm not gonna get to play the game, but maybe I can just build teams and just live vicariously that way and just post them online.
You have an EA account, you actually can.
I do have an EA account.
Wow. Yeah, so you go for it. It's called Team Builder.
I might just have to.
Honestly, most of the fun is like not even playing the game, even though the game it plays is so fun. It really.
I agree with you on this.
But yeah.
Oh no, 100%. It's all about the recruiting, the roster building, and then you sim through the regular season, and then you just try to win the national championship. You try to build juggernaut. You try to sim, win every game, and then beat the shit out of somebody in a bowl game.
Yeah, I do like to, be close with my players, really, be in the trenches with them, play, I don't want to simulate too much, I don't want to feel like I'm cheating, as a, you got to be in the trenches with your guys, as a coach. So
I'm playing offense only.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who's playing defense? Defense is for losers when it comes to video games. Like I'm sure Legarius Sneed doesn't even play defense when he plays NCAA football. He's like, nobody wants to play this on a video game.
Like it is fun to like pass rush sometimes, but yeah, it's like, I'll just play offense.
Well, the thing is too, you get on the pass rush sometimes, and it's like, okay, if you don't win that first move, then you're just like smashing buttons. You're just smashing buttons to try to like switch to a guy or just do something to get in the backfield, and then it just turns into complete chaos like very quickly. When
you can't switch to another like guy in coverage because then all of a sudden he's just going to stop, and then it's
yes.
And then you're burnt. So you might as well just play defense. And then you got to switch to the guy when the ball's in the air and then just try to make a play on the ball. Right. And so really, are you doing that much? The AI is doing like 90% of the work for you when you're playing defense. So
honestly,
you might as well let it do 100%.
No, straight up. Honestly.
Yeah.
Offense only
all right.
over here for sure.
Yeah. Offense is the best. All right. So boys, I mean, we've been crushing it. I'm not going to lie. Everybody here at Foolish Club Media has been crushing it, and we are trying to put out the best content we can on a consistent basis, and it's paying off. We have another 5-star review this week.
We do.
We have another 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Let's go from a very generous and kind and presumably wise and smart human being by the name of JMN 1836. Imagine that's just random numbers and not the year they were born. Otherwise, they would be old as shit. But that's probably why they're so wise. That's probably why they're so wise that they were born in 1836. And so JMN, happy birthday. Happy, what is that? 100 and, how many years would that be if they were born in
not quite 100?
No, over 100.
In
almost 200. Almost.
Sorry.
That's almost 200.
19,
no, we're talking like 188 or something like that.
That's like 140 something.
1836 is not 140 something. We're in 2024.
Oh, you're right.
You're 188. You're right.
188.
Yeah. No.
Good gosh, math ain't mathing right now.
Exactly, numbers, bro. It's all a conspiracy theory. Numbers don't actually exist.
Yeah, I agreed.
They were made up by the Illuminati in order so that Bill Gates could, I don't know, steal your money. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, 1836. Happy birthday, JM, and thank you for your 5-star review. It says, "I was literally lost without you." Smiley face. I just found out about this new podcast network and was lost without the regular updates from AP. I appreciate how much you all care about your fans to bring this new media after being removed from the other platform. Thanks for all you do. Let's go, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Heck yeah.
Hey, thank you
so much. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate you leaving the review so much. And I would just like to say from my heart to your heart that I think that you are better than any of your other friends. I think of your friend group, you're the most attractive, the coolest, the most handsome, the smartest,
dominant.
And any argument you get into with any loved one, I automatically side with you and think that you are correct and right in everything that you do. Here on out. So if you ever need anybody to just take your side on something, just blindly, I don't know, just send us a DM on Twitter or something and say, hey, I need you to jump in and take my side on this really quick. And I'll just hop in and I'll argue your point, whatever it is, until I'm blue in the face. As long as it's not something that's like really bad. Like I'm not going to get on there and argue in favor of racism or something like that. Like I'm not going to do that. Like I'm not going to go in there and argue that, that sort of thing, or argue that I don't know, that women shouldn't have the right to vote. Like I'm not going to get on there and argue against women's suffrage, but anything that's like a normal argument, like who's a better basketball player, Kobe or LeBron, whichever side you're on, I'll take that side. Which is better, meatloaf or stroganoff, whichever one you like, I'll take that side. Even if it's a little bit more serious, like should we take Daniel out of the will for what he said to mom at Thanksgiving? Yeah, sure. F him, take him out of the will. I don't care. I don't know him, but whatever you need, I'll take your side as long as it doesn't compromise my moral
Daniel.
integrity. Yeah, sorry, Daniel. You done messed up, AA Ron.
I think you made some pretty fair conditions there. I think you set it straight. That was good.
Yeah. So, Kramer, would you like to offer a thank you to our listener for their kind words?
You know what? I'll keep it short and sweet. Thank you.
Couldn't have said it better. A damn poet, that Kramer Sansone. You know, I tell you, when a guy gets a mustache, poetry flows forth from those lips. That's what they say. I mean, I think it was maybe it's in the ancient scriptures from some place, some ancient civilization.
It's probably carved on somebody's wall.
Yeah, it's carved in a temple somewhere, in a very remote, and mystical island. When a man has a mustache, from his lips flows poetry.
So I can only imagine what the poetry's been flowing out of the mouth of Travis Kelce.
Well, I tell you what, it's swoon worthy for damn sure, because he done got himself a Taylor Swift, so that it's gotta be pretty good. And you know what? That leads us to our very first topic in this week's Pop Kingdom. So anyway, boys, it's the first week of training camp this week, which means that only means one thing, and that means the return of the one and only El Travador to training camp, which means that Travis Kelce grew out a mustache and now looks like your Uncle Robert. Everybody has Uncle Robert with a mustache, and he looks just like Travis Kelce with a mustache. A very, very vanilla looking dude who probably served in the military at some point and maybe was a firefighter. Like that's
yeah.
He's
a member of a union. He is the member of a union. I don't know what union it is, but he is a card holding union member. That's his job.
He also likes to grill outside on those circular shaped grillers too, with his shirt button wide open, letting the bare belly hang out.
He gets those Johnsonville brats. He gets them out there, and he cracks open a natty ice, on a Sunday afternoon, on a hot Sunday afternoon, and his wife Deborah is over there. Somehow they literally stocked up on Zimas in the late 90s, and they've still been working their way through them. And she's sitting there sipping on a Zima, with her straw hat on, and he's sitting there cooking the Johnsonville brat on the circular grill, and they're playing. I don't know. Probably in the background, they're probably playing something like "Highway to the Danger Zone," like the original Top Gun soundtrack by Kenny Loggins. And they're just
right now.
They're the most blue-blooded damn Americans you ever did meet, and you love them to death, even if sometimes they're embarrassing at family functions. But
that's Kelce then.
Yeah, exactly. That's Travis.
That's Travis Kelce to a T. Like, you love him, but sometimes he wins a charity karaoke competition, and when you're sitting here listening to him talk on stage, you're like, he may have drank a little bit tonight.
Oh, dude, that's about at the parade. The parades, I mean,
the parade. He definitely drank a lot.
Love him for getting up there and with the speech, but
or the song.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
There was not a lot of enunciation going on between his words at the parade.
No, there was not.
Weren't a lot of full sentences. Yeah, it was more. Yeah, it was more just like phrases and words.
Just random phrases and random words. A lot like myself when I have drank that much on many a vacation in my life. And actually, guys, like I was talking to my buddy the other day about how much I appreciate just Australian culture in general. I know this is a complete tangent, but welcome to Veach season, baby. And I was talking about a time when I lived in the Philippines where I really appreciate Australian culture, because there was one night where we all went out to a bar and I literally drank so much that I could not make it back in a tricycle taxi. Like in the Philippines, the little tricycle taxis. I couldn't make it back 1.5 miles to my house in a tricycle taxi because I had drank it that much that night in multiple beer pong tournaments. Ooh. And so they this Australian couple we knew loaded me into a tricycle taxi and took me to their house. And then I woke up the next day in their house, and they had a pot of coffee waiting for me and breakfast and everything. And I walked out and I was like, oh my God, I was mortified. I was like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. It got away from me last night. I don't know what happened. Like, they were like, wow, please. It's not a problem at all. It happens. Everybody's been there. It's not a big deal. And they were just like, it was just like so welcoming and so normalized. And then they were like talking about how they met. I was like, how'd you guys meet? He's like, oh, I was on my way to a party one time and I was drinking a beer under a bridge. And I saw this girl walking my way. And I thought she was really pretty. So I offered her a beer and she sat down and drank a beer with me. I was like, you drink a beer with a stranger under a bridge as a lady? I was like, and you felt safe? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, God, I don't know what you guys are doing in your country, but you're doing it right. If a woman feels safe to drink a beer under a bridge with a total stranger, then whatever you're doing is right. I agree with it. And so hats off to Australians everywhere. All right. We love you. You guys
hats off to you.
Hats off to you. Throw another shrimp on the Barbie. Eat a blooming onion. I know that's not your actual culture, so I'm sorry if that's degrading, but we love you guys. Anyway, where were we? Oh, Travis Kelce's mustache.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense how we got there, right?
Yeah, it's kind of made sense how we got there. Anyway,
he looks Australian. Yeah, he looks Australian. There you go.
Oh, if anybody's going to look Australian in the on the Chiefs team, it's going to be Travis Kelce. I don't know if there's a more Australian looking player except for maybe Creed Humphrey. He could be a bit of a bogan.
George.
Oh, George.
We got a UDFA rookie running back, Carson Steele. He's got that flow.
Oh, yeah. Carson Steele could definitely be an Australian. Carson Wentz, maybe.
True.
Can it be ginger Australians? Is he ginger? Is he more
qualify as a ginger?
He's definitely ginger. Oh, yeah. No, he's ginger for sure. No doubt.
All right. So maybe more Scottish, more of a Scotsman.
He's more of a Scotsman.
You know, Jared Wiley honestly could give off a little Australian vibes.
Oh, I could see Jared Wiley definitely giving off Australian vibes, especially with the tattoos. Like he could be like
the scrapper.
A bit of a guy who's like a surfer, like an Australian surfer type of guy who once almost got bit by a shark or fought off a shark at some point in his life. You know, God.
Well, that's just every Australian, right? I don't know. Like that's not a.
Listen, when you're a baby in Australia, they just throw you in the ocean, and if you don't survive the sharks, then you just don't come back. It's like every child when they're like 4 years old has to wander into shark infested waters and come back again, or else, and then they get their Australian citizenship.
You get your Medal of Honor.
Yeah, you get your Medal of Honor, and that's factual. You can look it up. It's in Wikipedia.
So that's why they can have females feel comfortable drinking a beer under the bridge, then.
Because they've effing killed a
Got
shark.
the Medal of Honor.
They've been through more.
Yeah.
They've been through crazier.
They've been through shit, you guys.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're like there's not an Australian out there that hasn't been through it a time or two and lived to tell about it. All right, so natural segue from that is let's talk a little bit about the Chiefs holiday movie coming up. Ron, we've been talking a lot about the Chiefs Hallmark movie coming up soon. A Christmas Touchdown, right? I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
And so we talked a little bit in the past, like how we would end the movie if we were writing the movie. And I've just been really thinking about it a lot, like way, way, way too much. Like most of the time, like my wife will be talking to me about like, I don't know, like our kids' education plans, if we need to enter in like a school lottery to like, start planning what grade school they're going to go to, what we need to do with our 401ks and our, and like our mortgage, all these things. And while she's talking, I'm just thinking about the holiday Christmas movie the entire time, to be honest, just running through scenarios of how this thing should end inside of my head and just staring at her blankly. And then I just say, yeah, sure, whatever you think's best. And then, and now we're probably, I don't know what we're doing financially, but we still have a roof over our heads. So apparently she knows what she's doing.
She's got you.
She's got us. So she's obviously the brains of the operation over here. So I wanted to ask you guys if you could, version 2.0, we'll start with you first, Kramer.
Oh boy.
If you could end the Chiefs holiday movie in any way whatsoever, how would you end it?
So I would feel like this would have to end during a game at Arrowhead. Whether or not, however, the story is going on with the lead actors from the male side or the female side, whether they've found their way onto the field at some point in time on accident during a Chiefs play, and you see like Travis Kelce or like Patrick Mahomes, it has to be the defense is on the field for the Chiefs. So you got to like they somehow come out, interact, and try to pull them apart, or like, hey, there's a play going on over here or something like that. And then for some reason, the refs all surround them or like circle them, pick them up in the air, and he's there proposing to the chick. And it's like an all big work stunt. It's a shoot. And then fireworks go off. The play on the field basically ends, and it just circles on the people with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce next to them with the referees for some reason lifting these people up in the air.
It's beautiful. So it's like Rudy, but with like Chiefs people.
Yeah.
In the middle of the game. And then the game just ends.
Yes. It's a Hallmark movie. They don't care about the game.
They say the real winner is love. And then love wins, and then they carry them off the field. I love it. That's beautiful. All right, Ron, if you could
shoot from the hip there.
Shoot from the hip. You could end the Chiefs Hallmark holiday Christmas movie in any way whatsoever. How would you end this movie?
So it's about so it basically does end with engagement, right? Like that's what you're saying. Like it's a romantic movie. I mean, every romantic.
We don't know. It could end with death and despair.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it could be like Sophie's Choice. Next thing you know, they're just completely depressed the entire time.
Could have a killer Santa on the loose during the time. Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're choosing it. It's your universe, Ron. Don't try to make anybody else answer for you. It's your choice.
Well, I'm just thinking about, how the fact that the Chiefs do play on Christmas Day this year in Pittsburgh. And my first thought for some reason was like, oh yeah, that's in Batman when they blow up the field. So, maybe they bring that back, hey, everyone loves that movie. So maybe that's a way to kind of draw in the Batman audience to this movie. And everyone else falls around them except for them. Obviously Chiefs players, they miraculously, they're saved somehow. Don't worry about it, guys. But they end up, it's like only one like piece of field, and like they're the only ones there left, and then they get engaged. Boom. So yep, that's what I got. It
says romance. Like thousands of people being slaughtered before your eyes. Just death and mayhem everywhere. And you say, you know what? I just feel so close to you right now.
Well, that's when you have to make sure you get that done before, more, stuff happens. What if you don't make it? You got to make sure you guys at least get she says yes, you got to have that moment.
It's like that song by JP Sachs, right? Like the world was ending. You'd come over, right? You'd come over and you'd stay the night, right? It's the same thing. If the world is ending, then of course you're going to get engaged and fall in love. It's beautiful.
It's kind of like Titanic, except there's actually room on the door thing, or the door, right? She on the door.
Yeah, it's a door. Yeah, she doesn't just say, "I'll never let you go, Jack," and then pry his dead cold fingers from the door and watch him sink into the depths of the ocean. Wow,
this is a happier ending than that. So that's all you got.
She didn't say, "I'll never let you go, Jack," and then immediately let him go. Like immediately, like 20 seconds later, just let him go. That's beautiful. I love it. I think that I'd watch it. I'd watch it in a heartbeat.
I mean, you got to admit, it's probably more exciting than what happens in the actual Hallmark movie. So
we don't know that yet. You don't know that. It could be.
I can't judge.
They could get like, it could be like World War III breaks out and they both get drafted into opposite sides of a military, and they are suddenly enemies, and they have to use love to bridge the gap of war. You don't know that. It could be. Like, that's not how I think it's going to end, because I've been thinking long and hard about how I would end this movie. And
how would you end this movie, Rocky?
Yeah.
So here's how I would end this movie. I would end this movie where they're like the original couple, we'll let them get together and get out of the way. Like, I don't care about them. Like, they're not part of my ending. But during the course of things, maybe Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce hit the rocks a little bit. And it's kind of like, oh my gosh, are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce going to make it? Are they over? Is this storybook romance coming to an end? And we don't know. But leading up to Christmas, right before Christmas, before they go to Pittsburgh to play, they're doing a fundraiser down at Union Station to benefit Children's Mercy Hospital. And as a part of it, they're like doing like celebrity like Christmas caroling, right? And so Travis gets up on stage, and Taylor is in town, but they're fighting, and she wasn't gonna go, but she's like, you know what? I just need to go see him. I just need to talk to him one last time to get some closure, right, for everything. So she goes down there and she looks up, she sees Travis on stage, and he sees her, and little does she know that he has something up his sleeve, and he starts to sing a Christmas carol, and he says, wait, no, I think I need a little bit of help on this one. So then he has Andy Reid come out on stage, and Andy Reid begins to lead a solo a cappella version of All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Oh, nice.
And he starts to sing it, and he loves it, and he's just like, and then as he's singing it, all of a sudden the lights come up and somebody comes out on stage to join Andy Reid, and it's Mariah Carey. And Mariah Carey is in Union Station, and her and Andy Reid are singing All I Want for Christmas Is You. And then all of a sudden the offensive linemen come in and they start joining, and the whole team is there, and the whole chorus of Chiefs players is on the stage singing All I Want for Christmas Is You, while Travis Kelce is looking at Taylor Swift, and he walks down, he talks to her, and he says, I love you. I can't live without you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And he pulls her up on stage, and he gets down on one knee and proposes to her in front of all of Kansas City while they're singing, and everybody cheers. And then Taylor stands up, and somebody hands her a guitar, and her and Mariah Carey do a duet of All I Want for Christmas Is You on the stage there at Union Station for everybody to see. And then it gets cut as a single and becomes the #1 Christmas carol of all time, and becomes a huge hit. And all the proceeds go to Children's Mercy's Hospital, and they're able to build an entire new wing for disease research and to help out sick children. And all the kids in Kansas City are taken care of, and Christmas happens, and it's a Christmas miracle, and everything's great. And when they're done, Andy Reid walks over to Mariah Carey and just says, I've always been such a huge fan of yours. Can I get an autograph? And then she gives him a kiss on the cheek, and he's just like over the moon. And then Tammy gets really jealous and just beats her up. Just beats the shit out of her on stage in front of everybody. The end.
That's not bad. That ain't bad. I'd watch that.
Yeah. I tell you, my wife talks a lot, and I do a lot of thinking while she's talking.
My wife talks a lot.
I don't know if M. Night Shyamalan could have pulled up that twist. That was quite the twist there at the end.
So what happened to the original people again? The original
they
cast?
got married. Like second act, they got married. They're happy. They're in the crowd. They're just cheering everybody on.
I gotta say though, I can't be the only one. I'm sure there's some listeners out there that when you were hyping up, you were about to say Andy Reid. I thought you were about to say Jason Kelce. Because Kelsey's got them pipes, man. I thought you were about to say Kelce and Travis, or Jason and Travis come out, start duetting it. But honestly, if Andy comes out, that's even are you kidding me? He's bringing the house down. He's probably more of like an opera singer, though, right? Like Andy's an opera
probably.
Singer. Yeah.
But if he brings
like in a really
kind of falsetto whatsoever, I bet you somewhere deep down inside that teddy bear has the GD voice of an angel.
Oh,
I want to hear him. I want to hear him sing some Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
if you guys want to hear Andy Reid sing some Mariah Carey, leave a 5-star review and let us know. And then Brett Veach is sure to see it since this is his podcast.
True.
And he'll get the word over to Andy Reid, or we'll just hit up our buddy Pete Sweeney and beg him to ask Andy Reid in a press conference someday. Hey, Pete, I'll just bug him until he fires me from Arrowhead Pride every day. Hey, Pete, I just ask Andy Reid if he'll sing Mariah Carey during a press conference. I'm like, no, Rocky, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, hey, Pete, please, just ask him. Just ask him just once. Pete, hey, Pete. I'm like a 4-year-old talking to their parent. Hey, Pete, hey, Pete, hey, Pete, hey, Pete, until he finally gets fed up and either asks him or fires me, one of the two. But that's what I do for you listeners if you'll just give us a 5-star review and ask for it. Whatever you want.
Please leave us a 5-star review. Please.
Mm-hmm. We love them. We love you.
Mm-hmm.
Persistence is key. All right. Moving on. Pop Kingdom. A little bit of Chiefs update / Pop Kingdom crossover here on this one. You were out at the training camp today, right, right,
Yes,
Ron?
sir.
All right. So
Shout out CJ Scoob. Shout out Caleb and CJ. I was with them both. Shout out those boys.
Shout out, boys. We love you guys. You guys are dope. But there was numerous Chiefs players after practice who stayed out to sign autographs for the kiddos. It looked like, and for fans. Reports say that it was Travis Kelce, Brian Cook, Isaiah Pacheco, Jawan Taylor, Rashee Rice, and Montrell Washington were the ones that we had reports that were visually seen signing autographs for kids. And obviously one of the biggest ones would be Travis Kelce, you know, with him being as big of a star as he is, the fact that he still sticks around he's just a down to earth dude who's all about the fans. And that's awesome. But all of them, right? Just the fact that we have players on the team that care about the fans enough. You know, we're the most successful team in football, but still want to make sure the kids are taken care of. And that's kind of the way the Chiefs players have always been, right? They've always had guys on the team who are willing to stick around and sign autographs for kids. And but yeah, you were out there, Ron. What was the scene like?
No, yeah. I mean, honestly, the fan turnout, like I feel like every year, you know, I turn to someone and be like, man, I don't think I've ever seen this many fans out there. But like, you know, I said it again. I said it again because it felt true. You know, like they've like expanded the hill where like there's more room to stand than like there was before, like the one on the very far side. And I mean, honestly, it got to a point where like there really wasn't that much more. Just like, I mean, obviously there wasn't like crowded where like you're standing shoulder to shoulder, but like it's not like there was just like a bunch of more room for people to be standing like anywhere, you know, like I mean everywhere was packed. And no, I saw after practice I definitely saw Pacheco, Jawan Taylor. He was on a cart and we were like, oh god, what's going on, because he wasn't driving up the hill, he was like driving on the field. We were like, oh gosh, like why is Jawan on the cart? And then he's like stops at a crowd of fans and like, you know, starts signing there. He just didn't want to walk. So shout out Jawan, you know, saving them legs, you know.
Smart.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what? Another guy that was signing autographs was the punt god, Matt Areza. So
nice.
I don't know. You know, he was getting quite a crowd. So that's all, you know. I mean, hey, you know, punt god. I mean, you know, there you go. Besides that, I feel like Rashee was definitely signing some, and oh man, I don't know who else, but I will say Justin Watson was on the jugs machine for a very long time after practice. So shout out Justin Watson, he's grinding.
Well, if you're not signing autographs, you better be in the jugs machine. That's awesome, right? What was it?
Oh,
Amon-Ra St. Brown catches for 200 balls before practice every single. That's on the TV show Receiver. I watched half of an episode of Receiver, and in the very first episode, Amon-Ra St. Brown catches 200 balls on the jugs machine before each practice because there was a kid who was really good that he played against in Pop Warner, and that kid's dad said he caught 200 balls a day. So Amon-Ra St. Brown catches 201 every day.
Oh, yeah. Maybe J-Watt got inspired. I don't know. But no, it's funny because the jugs machine is right in front of all the fans. And I mean, hopefully he did sign some autographs after, but yeah, maybe he was just right there. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know if he signed any. There was a lot of fans though, so there was plenty of autographs to sign, and it was a shorter practice too. That's the other thing. They only did one kind of cycle through of team period. So I don't know. Definitely could have seen more players sign, but they're not, you know, there's certain days they're obligated and all that. So
it was beautiful in St. Joe as well. Perfect day for it. Really?
It was hot as balls here in Tampa, Florida, like it is every single day.
No, it's been crazy hot here, but no, honestly, it was like nice, a little cooler. The sun was still shining, but there was clouds. So, I mean, it was even awesome. Honestly, it did sprinkle for like a little second, like just for a quick second. Not even sprinkle, I would say a dash of rain. It was a good day. It was a good day.
It's the Rashee Rice like redemption project is like kind of following the arc that you expected to. Like he messed up, made a big mistake, did something extremely stupid, and then spent the next month or so putting out really cool workout videos of him getting super cut and just like running routes like a madman and looking really, really good in working out videos. And then he shows up to camp and he's not a story, stays out of the media, doesn't become a story, and then signs autographs for the kids first day of camp. Like feels like the redemption arc of getting everything back on track is underway for Rashee, and hopefully he stays on that path all the way up through the end of the season, and part of that would be giving more full candy bars at Halloween. He's a full candy bar giver at Halloween, so and like that's the thing is, like, if I learned one thing about, like, when I was like if Old Dirty Bastard, the rapper, member of Wu-Tang Clan, taught me anything, it's that sometimes it's that morality is very fluid, and that sometimes good people do bad things and sometimes bad people do good things, right? Like ODB, like, I don't know if he was a good guy or a bad guy, but he definitely got arrested for drug dealing at some point in his life. But he's like a rap god, and then he also saved a kid from getting hit by a car and like broke his arm in the process at one point, right? So like, it's fluid. Like sometimes good people do bad things, sometimes bad people do good things, and I'm not here to judge anybody. But Rashee Rice signed autographs for kids today, and that was a good thing. So hats off to you there. Hats off to all the players who stayed and signed autographs for kids today, because kids remember it. You know what? Kids do remember. When I was 11 years old, I went to an event in St. Joe, Missouri, at a pizza place where they had all this is before we did training camp there. It was some event where, like, one of the players invited like a bunch of the team up there to sign autographs for kids at this big pizza party. You paid like $20 to get in. Yeah, all you could eat pizza, and then all these Chiefs players signed your autograph. And me and my buddy walked over to Kimball Anders, and we said, "Hey, Kimball, will you like give us an autograph?" And he said, "This is like, we'd been there for a while. We had a lot of autographs already, so not like we hadn't gotten any autographs. We had a lot of autographs. We walked over to Kimball Anders. We were like, 'Hey, can we get your autograph?' And he was here at this event to sign autographs. He said, 'Hey guys, I'm really hungry. Let me go eat some pizza, and then I'll come over to your table when I'm done, and I'll sign an autograph for you.' And we said, 'Okay, this is our table right here.' And then we literally went over to our table, and we looked over, and we watched him walk out the side door and leave. And he totally lied to us. Totally lied straight to our face. 2 kids. I was like 11, and my other friend was like 9.
Dang,
like, straight to our face, and snuck out the side door.
And you never forget that.
No, Kimball Anders was a great Chief, but I'll never like him. He was a great player, and I'm sure he's probably a great guy. But in that moment, I remember to this day as a grown man that Kimball Anders said he was going to give me an autograph and snuck out the side door, and I watched him do it.
Hey, I will say I crazy enough have a similar story about Patrick Mahomes at a baseball game. Because when he was, in 2017, when he was a rookie, that summer, he was just first round pick. He wasn't that big a deal yet, but he was still a big deal. And I was at a Royals game, and and he was sitting like just in the lower level with like Garrick Dieter and someone else. Like, I think D-Rob maybe. There's maybe someone, another practice squad receiver I'm forgetting. But anyway, I don't know. I saw him, and I was like geeking out a little bit just because I'm a football, obviously a nerd. And so I went up and like, I did like that. I was able to dap him up, and I was like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And he was like, not right now, but I was gonna do pictures and stuff like after the 4th inning sometime. So just come back after that. And then he left before, it was like, or maybe not the 4th inning, it was sometime. But yeah, he left before that, whatever inning he said, he did. So
damn.
He just didn't want to take a picture. He didn't want everyone to start coming up taking pictures, I'm sure. But it was kind of funny. I was just like, because no one was like really that bothering him. He was just chilling. And so I walked up to him. But I was able to dap him up, though. He was like,
I was having a good day at the park, just hanging out with my buddy Dieter and D-Rob. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes over asking for a photograph. I'll argue the difference in the stories are that I was at an event specifically for Chiefs players to get kids autographs. And you were at a Royals game where he was just hanging out. And I was 11, and you're a grown-ass married man.
Hey, not at the time. You weren't
married at that point. You were just a grown-ass man at that point, though.
Well, yeah, and it's like, honestly, I'm curious in your story now, like, because you were right there with him. How could he not have just signed your stuff right there? Like,
I literally had a Sharpie in my hand.
That's wild.
Damn.
That is
damn,
wild.
Rocky.
I thought that was gonna be a good story, and I was gonna say shout out Kimball Anders, but no,
not shout out Kimball Anders. Like, shout out about 90% of the other players that were on the team at that point in time. It was awesome. It was a great day. We had lots of pizza, lots of autographs. It was a really fun time. Kimball Anders, you were like the one signature we didn't get. And so leave us a 5-star review and tell us why you did that to me when I was 11 years old.
Or tell us your story of a player like skipping out and you were good.
Yeah, when you were a kid, right? Because that's the whole reason why was it? That's the whole reason why Eric Berry always signs autographs. Was it Eric Berry? Who was it? Who Deion Sanders skipped out on them, and so they always sign autographs now. I think it's Eric Berry because he grew up in Atlanta, and he was
Makes
a huge. I think he was a huge Deion Sanders fan, and Deion Sanders skipped out on him and didn't give him an autograph, and so he said that he would never tell a kid no. And to his point, I saw him his rookie year sit there and give my bud James Todd, our legal correspondent for the Veach season. We told that story on the episode where Eric Berry came over after he was already done signing autographs and signed an autograph for James's nephews, and then a whole other crowd came over and he stayed there for like another hour signing autographs. Like Eric Berry was the dude when it came to signing autographs and being there for the fans. And so listen, like sure, people might not, you might not remember any of those interactions as a player, but your fans will remember every interaction that you have with them for the rest of their lives. And it could be a defining moment for them, and it'll shape their opinion of you for the rest of their lives. Anyway, but I'm not here to hate on Kimball Anders. This is not a Kimball Anders hating session. Kimball, you're a great chief and I love you. If you want to come on the show and give us your side of the story and tell the whole world why I was an asshole and you didn't want to sign my hat because I looked like a little prick of a kid, then you're probably right. I was probably a dick child. I'm not gonna lie. So you could have just not liked the way I looked.
I have one quick question. Was that before or after 1993?
Let's see. It was right around 1993.
I'm curious.
It's probably 1992. I was 11. I was born in 81. So it was right around 1992, 1993, something around there.
I don't know. My dad always, talked about how that AFC Championship game, 93 in Buffalo, how Kimball Anders, he had that ball come off his chest or whatever on the goal line and got intercepted. Didn't they get returned or was it just got intercepted? Maybe, I don't know. But hey, I don't know. I'm just saying, could have been karma from that interaction. So I'm just curious.
Sorry, Kimball. If you would have signed my autograph, the Chiefs would have won a Super Bowl. You could have been a hero.
That's what I'm saying.
Dang. Look, guys, that could be another scenario for this Hallmark movie. It could be like a quantum leap situation where
where's Bakula at?
Yeah, Bakula starts leaping back into the bodies of all the Chiefs players throughout history to try to get the Chiefs to win a Super Bowl every year that they're in existence, right? So they've won every single Super Bowl that ever existed, and it's like he has to leap into Kimball Anders' body and catch that pass. He's got to leap into Lynn Elliott's body and make that field goal.
Ooh.
Man, he's got to leap into D Ford and just sit down. He just sits down. Just doesn't jump off sides. He just sits down. That's another scenario we could do. All right, last Pop Kingdom subject, and then we're gonna get to some real football talk.
Yeah.
Because this, what am I kidding? This is hard-hitting journalism.
Of course it is.
Its finest, per the usual.
It's Veach season, baby.
Veach season, baby.
Yes,
wild card, bitches.
Shout out, Charlie.
All right, so news came out today that Joe Biden has stepped out of the electoral cycle for the president of the United States, and we're not here to talk about that. We're not political. We don't care about that. What I do care about is if you could choose one person or player within the Chiefs organization, or maybe married to a Chiefs player even, or the child of somebody the Chiefs, just make it associated to the Chiefs in some way, shape, or form. It could be Donna Kelce for all I care. But who would you choose to be president of the United States if you could choose somebody who is, 6 degrees of separation? 6 degrees is too much. 3 degrees of separation from a Chiefs player. Kramer, you go first.
So the easiest one right now for a player, Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have to talk. He can just you put his picture up, boom, done. But the person you actually have to have run if you're in this Chiefs, it's gotta be Brett Veach. Veach is the only answer to this. 1, great looking. 2, he's got charisma. 3, he's able to get shit done. That's just what he does. He's able to win championships, multiple championships. And he doesn't. All he does is bring what's hurting right now in our United States, the economy. I'm not trying to get any political or anything, but I feel like Brett Veach is here. We all make green because he likes to see the green. And no matter what green they have, he puts it back into the team to make even more green. That's just what he does. Brett Veach for president, baby.
Suck it up to the boss, are we? Suck it up to the boss of the podcast,
do
are
what
we?
you gotta do. This man's a genius. I don't know
Wow,
how the heck he
just,
manipulates everything in the world. And no matter what,
Facts.
it goes to the right direction is always in the Chiefs' direction. Because of Brett
Who's our
Veach.
cap guy? Who's our current cap guy? Like that guy should at least be like the head of I don't know who's our head
treasurer?
Yeah, treasury.
Yeah, head of the treasury. Like that, our cap guru should at least be the head of the treasury for sure. If Brett Veach is the president. All right, Ron, who you got? Who would be the president of the United States if they were 3 degrees of separation from Chiefs?
Not only does this guy, have the kind of resume, like, because of he just kind of looks like Dave Tobe. Like he just has that presidential kind of, big chest, kind of just that look, he's a big presidential guy. And special teams coordinator, dude, you gotta touch all corners of the locker room. You gotta know all things, what's going on. You gotta know every ins and out of the rule book in football. Offense, it's easy to know everything that's going on. Special teams, you gotta get in the nitty gritty of that rule book. He'd be great at breaking down bills. I'm sticking with it. I think Tobe's got that presidential look to him.
Uncle Dave, 2024.
Uncle Dave, exactly. He's
got a
Uncle
good look
Dave,
to him.
Uncle Dave.
Okay, so who would be your guys' running mates, Kramer? Who would be the running mate for Brett Veach?
Well, you need to get someone that you like. I honestly, why not Pat? Why wouldn't Pat be the running mate?
Right.
You just need a guy that's somebody that they like. So we love Patrick Mahomes. We just don't like him. We love him.
That's true. All right, what about you? Who would be Dave Tobe's running mate?
Dave's Tobe running mate would probably not be Dustin Colquitt. I could probably tell you that, based on some things said. Dave Tobe, yeah, no, I love Tobe. I love Dave. He keeps it real. Honestly, he probably shouldn't, but like Bucker would probably be knocking on his door, being like, "Hey, I'd love to be your VP, bro. I'd love to be there for you, bro."
He would persuade the votes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
there's a certain section of the electorate that would 100% be on board with that.
He'd be polarizing.
We see that in jersey sales.
Yeah, he said in jersey sales. So that's a smart. That's almost like a smart angle to take. Like you just take two people from polar opposite sides of the political spectrum, like Bucker, and then I don't know who's extremely liberal on the team, but whoever the most liberal player is, and put them out there. Like, I don't know his political beliefs at all, but like Justin Reed is a super smart guy, right? And so if Justin Reed was a liberal Democrat, and then Harrison Butker is a staunch conservative, we'll put those two together and make Reed president and Butker vice president, and then suddenly you're reaching across both sides of the aisle, and there's less fighting, and everybody just gets along, and shit gets done. That
would be nice.
But that wouldn't be my choice. My choice would be Dave Merritt, because he's the guy who takes the best, he'll take any situation, any player, anything he's given, he gets the most out of it and turns it into GD gold, into a GD Super Bowl winning defensive back unit. And he's a motivating guy. I like to hear him talk. Dave Merritt would be my president through and through 100 times over. And Taylor Swift would be his running mate. Yeah, because that gets you the popular vote. I want Dave Merritt, Taylor Swift ticket.
Yeah, Taylor Swift herself is probably the right answer. Just
probably the right answer
in general.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about Dave Merritt. I think I'd rather him just be like, some sort of hype man or something, or some sort of just like attorney general maybe. Yeah, I like attorney general.
Be the Speaker of the House.
Not hype man, not the same thing. Speaker of the House, yeah. See that?
That's true.
Spags, Speaker of the House, doing the
yeah. I need his accent. I need him talking all the time.
I feel like we could have Andy Reid be the Dick Cheney of whatever this.
Okay.
He'll be the puppet master behind the scenes, just kind of orchestrating everything. All right. Well, that's our spot on political commentary for the week here at Veach season. And I
was digging through something. You just reminded, I don't know why I have this card, but apparently I have this card. George Bush.
Oh, wow. Look at that, huh?
Dang.
I don't know why.
Is that W?
It's W.
That's not the 9/11 game, is it?
He's got his thumb. He's got a thumbs up.
Kind of looks like what he was wearing. That
one of the first pitch. Yeah, I've got a litany of cards to my left, and don't know why he just popped in my mind right now. I was like, yeah, I can show this off real quick.
As a child, I was quite the card collector. I collected every single sport. I collected the first Desert Storm. They had Desert Storm trading cards for like the first Gulf War.
Wow. That's
and
wild.
I had like the Norman Schwarzkopf. I had all of them. I had like the entire set of Desert Storm trading cards when I was a kid. There was not a single trading card that I did not collect when I was a child.
That is wild. Actually, that they had those.
They had them. Yeah, it's insane. It was like you'd go to like 7-Eleven and they would sell them right there with all the other cards. Like if that's not propaganda, I don't know what is.
Massive propaganda. Did you also buy a cigarette at the time as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, my mom gave them to me. It was in my school lunch.
You're right. You're right.
She'd say, "Here's a lucky strike for digestion, son. Line up." Anyway, moving on. Chiefs update. We got to get this show on the road. All right, a couple headlines from the first week of camp. All right, first thing is injury report this week. Joe Thuney still out. No, he was there but not participating. Justin Reed is joined the injury list. He's listed as day-to-day with a quad injury. Was seen wearing a sleeve on his leg. Derek Nottie still not participating. Jalen Watson still coming back from that leg injury. Charles Omenihu as well, still coming back, and BJ Thompson from his situation coming back as well. None of these are super concerning because we knew about them all except for Justin Reed. Justin Reed's popped up kind of out of the blue here. And Ron, does it seem to be like, from what you've heard and what you've seen, does it seem to be like an injury that we should be concerned about, or is it are they just being precautionary?
Well, he was out there. He was standing around out there on the field, which is better than the alternative, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is kind of weird. I mean, it did pop up out of nowhere. It's a quad. A quad is, not like, a torn quad obviously is terrible, but like, if it's a strained quad, it's not something I'm sure that like is going to hamper him throughout the season. I'm sure it's something he can just rest and get over. And that's the thing. Like, they have this safety group that, I think they, it's not the worst thing in the world if all those guys get some more run and kind of, get more reps, like rookie Jaden Hicks, who was able to start with the defense today in practice because Justin Reed wasn't playing because they're actually doing a lot of 3 safety sets. So Connor's playing that slot. So yeah, so I mean, it's just getting the other guys reps, and I'm sure it doesn't sound like a big deal.
You mentioned the 3 safety sets, and that's an interesting point because you put out your depth chart as you see it earlier this week on Twitter, and I noticed on there that it looked like you had 3 safety set. Almost, what is it, the base defense? What was that? Was that a 4-2-5 that they were running? Yeah.
So the nickel is pretty much the base in today's world, in today's football world. But the Chiefs have always done 3 cornerbacks. Right? The fifth defensive back, the nickel defender, comes in. He's just a slot cornerback. But you saw last year situationally, most of the time it was McDuffie, right? But situationally, you saw Jamar Connor, the rookie, be in that slot. And it was kind of like a rundown thing, right? Because he's a bigger safety type dude. He can kind of be like an outside linebacker almost, but also be, versatile enough to, if they do pass it on those rundowns. But now it seems like they're kind of going to that as like their exclusive defense. Like that's all they were running today. I mean, they were running some base too, but they were running a lot of 3 safety sets, and it's why probably they drafted Jaden Hicks, because they need the safety group to continue to be really, really strong. And that's been the theme throughout Spags' tenure here, right? Is using a lot of the safeties. So I mean, it's no surprise, but I mean, it just seems to be becoming more of like a part of like the down-to-down defense rather than just situational defense.
That's awesome. So with that though, so if you're going to run a 3 safety set on average, you're going to use the safety there in the slot. Obviously, guys like Brian Cook, Jaden Hicks, Jamari Connor, those guys, even Najee Johnson, because he's very much kind of a downhill, like aggressive type of player as well, who fits into that mold. It makes sense. But that also means that that pushes McDuffie to the boundary, right? So that means that McDuffie to the boundary is basically a done deal.
Yeah, he exclusively played on the outside today at practice, which, he did kind of talk about earlier, like OTAs. He mentioned that, he kind of was saying, like, I'm going to help the nickel guys this year, get accustomed. But, like, he was kind of saying it like, I'm on the outside now. Like, that's another position. I'm not. And I just don't really like that, It is kind of what they did with Snead, right? You can find tweets of me last year saying, oh, they shouldn't take Snead out of the slot. He's a really dynamic, playmaker from the slot, whether it's blitzing, whether it's, it's being a run defender. But obviously he turned into a stud corner. It's not about McDuffie playing on the outside that you're worried about. It's more just about, like, he was such a good playmaker in the slot. You take away that. And it's like, obviously I'm sure they're going to let him travel with number one receivers. But yeah, it's like Connor is a safety, dude. Like, he's not covering a dude one-on-one like a corner can. Like, he's just not that kind of, like, he's not that defender. So I still wonder if they'll switch it up and kind of make on pass downs and stuff. McDuffie comes into the slot because Connor's just not he's not a cornerback. So it is kind of weird.
Do you think that in those situations they'll play it? If they want to keep McDuffie on like wide receiver number one, so then your other outside cornerback is going to be Joshua Williams or Jalen Watson or Kamal Haddon, like one of those three guys mixed up. So then you think they'd put a guy like Najee Johnson, who has a little bit better man skills, because he was getting run with the ones last year before he got hurt, right? And you heard Spags talk a lot about how he was excited about his coverage skills, and he does have pretty loose hips. Like, if you go back and watch his tape at Marshall, he has loose hips. He can flip and turn. He's not overly athletic, but he's got pretty good short range coverage skills. Do you think that what they'll do if they're going to have that, they'll probably just switch out to situationally what safety they have there in the slot?
Well, yeah, because if McDuffie's in the slot, you can't put Connor on the outside, obviously. So you do put Joshua or Jalen, and so maybe that's the thing is just it just depends on the situation. That's why you have cornerback depth. That's why you have guys that can play on the outside, and Najee is one of them. I got to give you credit. You called me out on Twitter for not including Kelvin Joseph in my little bubble DB thing, and he is running as the second team corner exclusive. No one else was rotating in with him, so that means he's at least cornerback 5. And then
let's
Najee
go, Kelvin. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. Najee was the other cornerback on that second team, though, on the outside. So, he is kind of, he's the 4th or 5th corner, outside of Joshua Jalen and Trent McDuffie. So yeah, they definitely like him. And then Nick Jones, he was playing the slot for the second team too. And then he played a little outside, I think, in some situations. So yeah, it's like, they have depth of young guys, and we've seen this team develop these guys, so they're just trusting them. But I do think maybe it's one of those things where, like, they feel like they get their best 11 players on the field if Connor's in the slot, McDuffie's on the outside, and it's only one of Joshua or Jalen rather than both of them on the field, right? So maybe that's why they're doing it. It's just I worry that Connor, he may not be, super comfortable in coverage from the slot.
Well, luckily not every single team has a Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Coming out of the slot.
Well, exactly, yeah, because he's putting them in Connor's a safety. Like, it is kind of funny. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I could see someone like Amon-Ra giving him some work out of the slot if they do it that way.
All right, that's awesome to hear about, though. A little bit of Chiefs roster news also. The Chiefs released tight end Garrett Prince, local product Garrett Prince from the team in favor of Isaiah Gaithens, which kind of sucks because Garrett Prince has always been a dark horse fan. We've always been dark horse fans of Garrett Prince, not only on Veach season but over at Arrowhead Pride, and it sucks that he's no longer with the organization.
Yeah, and it is an injury related thing because he has been with the team since last week 1 after he got cut from the Jaguars. For anyone who doesn't know, it's one of my best friends. We grew up together. He was my wide receiver 1 in high school. Threw him a few bombs, got him going, and he put on some weight, became a tight end. Super proud of the dude. But yeah, this is his 3rd NFL offseason, and he just kind of he's had a few unlucky things happen, and this is the latest, unfortunately. I do think he would push Irv Smith for that 4th tight end spot. So I'm really feeling for him. It would have been fun to see him in camp. So, But again, he broke his foot during or late last year on the practice squad, recovered, stayed on the team, was with them the whole offseason, but he just re-aggravated it here in the rookie portion of camp. So very unfortunate, but shout out G. You know, he's keeping his head up, looking for the next opportunity.
Keep grinding, bro. We're excited to see what happens. You know, excited to see the next step. Big fans. So keep doing your thing, dude. Other news also, Xavier Worthy. All the people who said the sky was falling, Xavier Worthy had a hamstring injury. He wasn't going to be ready for the start of camp. He was going to be a bust. Everything. Well, in the words of The Rock, know your role and shut the hell up. He seems to be okay. They're smoking defensive backs. There's the video that the Chiefs put out of QB1, rolling out left and then doing that back-footed 50-yard bomb in the air, hitting Xavier Worthy in stride. Why is Xavier Worthy going to be Rookie of the Year this year, Ron?
I mean, for stuff like that. I mean, you remember McColl's rookie year? Didn't he have like 8, 9 touchdowns? Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm inflating that a little bit, but I mean, what happens when you're the third or fourth guy in this offense, and Kelce and hopefully Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice are taking away, attention. Like, he's gonna just have those little pockets to kind of break through, and he's got so much speed that he can really make it pay when that happens. And no, that play was crazy, man. It was about a 60-yard bomb, rolling left and then going back right. And like Brian Cook was like there, but like he just, I don't know, that there's just nothing he could do about it. Like, you can't even blame him. It just was it was a crazy throw. And yeah, it's a preview of something for sure. I mean, they have the deep ball back this year. They have too many weapons that can go vertical and create space to not be able to get some of those bombs going more this year.
I mean, yeah. So looking at it, Miko had 6 touchdowns his rookie year.
Okay, so
but yeah, no, 100%. Like,
he averaged 20 yards a catch his rookie year, though. It was 20 point something.
Xavier's gonna do more than that, hands down.
20 yards a catch.
No, even more touchdowns. He's have more yards per catch. I think I bet if he gets in the offense and Andy falls in love with him really quickly, this is arguably he's probably could be flirting with 1,000 yards easily.
Okay, so that's
17 games.
Xavier Worthy over under 750 yards receiving rookie year. Kramer
way over.
That's a rookie in Andy Reid's offense.
Yeah, if Andy can fall in love with him quickly, he's going to start using him because he likes little fast guys. Who's a little fast guy? Xavier Worthy.
No, and that's the thing with Xavier Worthy is he like can do all the little gadgety stuff that Andy loves to just get a guy the ball in his hands really quickly into space, but he also can just be a legitimate receiver and run legitimate routes and get himself open. And again, if he's the fourth option on a play or the at least third, like it's just going to make it so much easier for him to get into space, and then that speed is going to be hard to 750 is a good number, honestly, Rocky. That was a good line for you. But I don't know, man. I think if Rice plays the whole season, which I know it's probably it's hopeful to think that maybe that suspension waits till next year. But I mean, if that does happen, I doubt. Just because there's those other guys are going to eat too. Like Hollywood Brown's going to eat. Hollywood Brown's going to eat this year.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
So.
Brown's going to have almost 1,000. Rice is going to have 1,000. Kelsey's going to have 1,000. Like right. At some point, somebody's not going to be like. There's just not going to be enough passing yards.
But we see enough guys receiver reception. Like, I think Mahomes averages about 10 people makes a catch on this team every single week. Now, if you just eliminate some of that and condense it now. It's going to be scary.
For 6,000 yards in this scenario, Kramer?
At least we're 5.
Yeah, of course, 5.
Could happen.
He'd have to. He'd have to throw for 5. He's done it.
Oh,
no, I mean,
yeah.
No, it's there's too many, and honestly, McColl too can help. Just be almost a decoy at times, just pushing stuff vertically, opening up space for other guys. Like, there's just so much. Yeah, it's the offense is going to be rolling this year. I really do think so.
I think this offense is going to be the best Chiefs offense we've seen since 2018, to be honest. I think without a doubt.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Tony at running back. Also, that's the other thing that seems to be coming out of camp is that with Worthy being able to be the third or fourth option, right? Plus Mecole, plus Justin Watson on the jugs, getting those possession like that's like we're talking 6 guys right there, right? The Chiefs carried 7 on their 53 out of the gate last year, but I mean, like, are they going to carry 7 again this year with the number of tight ends that they currently have on the roster that they like, with, the running back situation with Louis Rees-Zammit, like all these things come into play. There's only so many. So what are they going to do with Kadarius Toney? And it seems to be that they're looking at him at running back.
Yeah, if you and I honestly may go find these clips tonight because I'm curious too how many times, but there's a few times they line him up at running back and just hand it off to him on like a pretty much on a pretty basic zone run, and he kind of does, he kind of does have running back movement, when he's not just dancing around too much. He's not fast, in a long speed, right? But he's more quick, shifty, able to explode 2 or 3 yards one way. And so it could be a way to kind of mess with defenses personnel wise. They could come out of the huddle without any running backs on the field and still be able to run the ball. That could mess with some defenses. So it might
like
be
like a James Cook kind of comp kind of thing.
I mean, that's the thing. He moves well. I mean, James Cook is James Cook is a legit dude. Tony, he just kind of dances a little too much, but if he doesn't, he just has this kind of running back movement skills. And again, if they spread it out into those light boxes, man, he just makes one dude miss. It could be a really good run. And hey, the running back room, that could just speak to kind of the playmakers they got at running back. It kind of is thin right now behind Isaiah Pacheco, so they might just be looking to find something.
I do think it's interesting and actually smart that they eliminate one process that Kadarius Toney doesn't have to do anymore, and that's catch a football. If that's the case,
hey,
because if you just hand it off to him and he gets hopefully he doesn't fumble it or anything drastic happens like that. But it's smart. Do I think it's going to play out like week 1, week 2, week 3? No, no. There's better running backs on this team, and if you're doing that, then you're just pretty much saying that Louis Rees-Zammit's not going to be factored at all in this offense. You can just cross them off the board. Deneric Prince won't make this roster. And that's the case. That's what's going to happen here.
Well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, boys, because guess what we're doing right now? We're going to go through our way too early 53-man roster predictions and go position by position and we're going to make our predictions of who we think makes this roster. All right. So let's start out with quarterback. How many QBs are the Chiefs keeping, Ron?
Dose. That's how they've been doing it, right?
Yeah.
And so, shout out Carson Wentz.
He's making it okay.
Got a fun little backup.
Wait, Mahomes is making it? So you said Mahomes is making it?
I didn't say that. No, I'm just
okay. No.
Spoiler alert.
What do you think? No. What do you think, Kramer? You think two QBs make it?
At least, yeah, just 2. And you got the practice squad guy, so yeah, 2.
All right, we're saying two QBs. I agree 100%. There's no way they're going to carry a third QB with Wentz as a backup. There's just no need for it right now. All right, running backs. How many running backs are the Chiefs carrying? And we're counting Louis Rees-Zammit as a running back in the number, right? So he's going to be one of those running backs. All right, Kramer? Let you go first this time. How many running backs do you think the Chiefs are going to keep?
I think 4. I think it's going to be Pacheco, Edwards-Helaire, Prince, and Rees-Zammit.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think, Ron?
I honestly do think they just go 3 running backs, just because I feel like the guys, the other guys that don't make the team, they can just get on the practice squad and bring them up if they have to, including LRZ. Like, I don't know, man. He wasn't in any plays today at practice. So I don't know. That might be more long term than we think. Even though we still haven't seen him, maybe they still want to try to use him on kick returns, and maybe they just really are sold on that. But I'll just say 3. And honestly, I'm going with Keontae Ingram as that third guy. I just think he's a little bigger back, and he's still younger. But he kind of has some of the skill sets to replace Jerick McKinnon in terms of being a good pass protector on pass downs. He does have, some good receiving reps as well in the NFL, limited. I'm gonna bank on him. Although I am sleeping on Deneric Prince. I think last year's camp hype just kind of like it died so hard that I think everyone is kind of like forgetting about him, including me. But would love to see him prove it for sure.
I think I'm going to go with 3 running backs as well, but I'm going to go Pacheco, Clyde, and Reese Sammet as my 3 running backs. I think they carry Reese Sammet just for the special teams aspects of it, and then maybe they keep Tony as just like an offensive weapon. I don't know if they can figure it out. Maybe they don't. Maybe I don't know, but I think that's what they're going to do. Because I also think that I'll go first on this one. I think the Chiefs carry a fullback this year, and I think Carson Steele makes the roster as a fullback, and I think that they like him and that Andy wants to have a running back. He didn't last year, but I think that he reverts back to his Andy ways, and I don't think they would have brought Steele in if they didn't intend on at least considering keeping a fullback this year.
That's fair.
So
I don't think I don't think they're going to keep a fullback.
That's interesting though, because I mean they Andy does love his traditional sets to an extent. He kind of loves to he still wants to have that. He just hasn't had a guy to trust to be that fullback special teams guy since Burton, I guess. But that's interesting, man.
You're gonna go 1 or 0 fullbacks?
Zero.
You're going 0.
Interesting,
okay.
But don't agree.
But not doing it. Okay. All right. Let's go tight ends next.
If I'm good, I will say.
Yeah.
I believe I say 4 tight ends. I do think they're going to keep a 4th, keep Irv Smith Jr. Along with Jared Wiley, Noah Gray, Travis Kelce. And this is where I really think my guy G would have had a chance to push Irv. I think they want to go back to 4 tight ends. They only had 3 last year, but I think you're going to see multi tight end sets used more in the offense. But I also just think they saw the benefit of Kelce, get a little rest at the end of the season. Let's try to, just continue to limit his snaps a little bit. And that takes just, a few more guys. So I'm going to say 4 tight ends.
I'm saying 4 as well. I absolutely agree with you on that. Especially keep Travis Kelce fresh throughout the full course of the year is actually beneficial for your team.
Yeah, and Wiley can do some of the things Kelce. I mean, obviously he's a rookie, but some of the things, like for example, like these quick screens that they still for some reason throw to Kelce all the time on the outside, like he's just catching and running like he's a freaking slot receiver. In theory, you could get Wiley to do some of those things now because he's athletic too. It is crazy to still do, but Kelce does make big plays out of them sometimes still. So I get why they do it.
I think I'm going 3. I'm going 3 again this year because I think that with those slot plays, I think those just go to Rashee Rice in the games when he's available, and those little quick slot plays. Because now that you have Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy on the outside, right? Rashee is going to be in the slot so much more, I think, this year than even when he was last year. And so those quick little plays are going to go to Rice. And so I'm going to say 3 tight ends, and that's how I get my fullback roster spot. Is that I don't need Noah Gray to play fullback for me because I have Carson Steele. All right, this is the burning hot topic question right here. How many wide receivers and what wide receivers are making this roster? Go first, Ron.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's tight. It's a tight fight right now. I think it's going to end up being 6 receivers. Because they did do 7 last year, but that was with 3 tight ends, so I think that's where it has to go down to 6. And we just were talking about Tony, but honestly, when you break it down, I do think Tony becomes the odd man out if they do go 6. I think Sky gets the benefit of the doubt to be the 6th receiver, just because it's still only year 3. I think the Chiefs are just I could see them it's not that I don't think they wouldn't never cut him in any situation in this year, but I think he's got to have a pretty crappy training camp. And then McCole, I do think, makes the team as well. So I think it's Brown, Xavier Worthy, Rice, Justin Watson, McCole, and Sky as the 6 receivers.
I'm going 6 as well. I think you got to make Rice, Brown, Xavier Worthy are clear cuts. They're making it. I think Justin Watson gets in. I do think McCole Hardman does make the roster spot. You wouldn't sign him late into the offseason with not him and no intentions of him making the roster spot. So I think he's solidified it being there. And then I think Macho Washington is the 6th guy. I really like the dude. He's another gadget-y person if you want him to be. He's also a punt returner, kick returner. So if you need a person to rely upon in that as well, go for it. So I think he's the 6th guy.
I'm gonna go 6 wide receivers as well. I'm going Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown as my top 3. I'm gonna put Mecole Hardman in the mix. It also is number 4. Number 5 is going to be Justin Watson, and then I'm gonna buck the trend, and I'm gonna say that neither Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney make this roster, and that Nico Remigio comes out of there as a dark horse, and he has a great preseason just like he did last year, and he stays healthy, and he ends up being wide receiver number 6.
That'd be fun.
And that Andy Reid ends up trusting him more out of the slot, and he fights for the ball better. He's more athletic, I think, than Sky Moore is, honestly. He plays a little bit bigger, and I think that Nico comes away with wide receiver 6.
Yeah, I mean, if there's going to be someone to replace Sky, I think Nico's a natural replacement.
Or they bring somebody in free agency like Kramer Sansone.
Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, like Hunter Renfrow, like we've been asking for all off season. Brett Veach, bring in Hunter Renfrow.
Come on, Brett.
Wide receiver 6 for the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, offensive line. Let's round out this offense. Who do the Chiefs keeping on the offensive line?
There's going to be 10 guys. That's typically the number. They will sometimes go down to 9. But I think this year, kind of with some of the draft picks, obviously they just made, they're going to need to give, some guys time to develop. So obviously the starting line, Creed, Joe Thuney, Trey Smith, Juwan Taylor. Wanya Morris did start out at left tackle, even though Kingsley rotated in with the starters. So that's 6 when you include Kingsley. Mike Caliendo was the starting left guard because Joe Thuney is still not practicing. So, I know there are times, and it's happened multiple times in an Andy Reid camp where a starting offensive lineman in the camp due to injury or due to whatever didn't end up making the team just because, they were just kind of a filler. And so Caliendo could end up like that, but I do think he's been with the team a few years. I think it's smart to keep him. He could be the new Allegretti to an extent, even though I don't think he's that good. Then the 2 rookie draft picks that were later, so that's 9. And then the 10th guy would be Lucas Niang, which I don't feel great about. But I guess they just, I don't think they have anyone that can beat him out right now for that 4th O tackle spot. And I do think they want a 4th O tackle with what the situation is right now.
I think they go with 9. Wanye would probably give me. I don't know who would actually be the starters there for the left tackle. That's different discussion for a different day. But Wanye and Emma Sumatia would clearly be in there. Tooney, even hurt or not hurt. I do like Mike Caliendo a lot. Creed Humphrey, Hunter Norzard. I think you can put Hunter as a guard if you need him to. Trey Smith, Juwan Taylor, and Lucas Niang are my 9 guys.
I'm going 10 as well. The exact same 10 that Ron named off. So I think that I think we're pretty much almost in agreement on our offensive line, with the slight deviation of Kramer. Just trying to go light in the box for some reason. Just want to go light in the trenches. You want to go light in the pants, Kramer? You're a little light pants boy. Is that what it is?
I mean, you're gonna have a lot of practice squad guys you can put on there, so they'll be fine.
All right, let's quick fire the defense here, boys.
All right.
So we don't keep people on this podcast for 5 hours, unless they want to have a 5-hour podcast. Which
I'm down to clown always.
Let's keep rolling, baby. All right, we'll start. We'll just hop straight across to the trenches. We'll say we'll split up edge and defensive tackle. So we'll start with defensive tackle. Defensive tackle, Kramer. Who you got first?
Well, Chris Jones clearly. Derek Nottie. I think Turk and Mike Pinnell. I think Nelly Farrell does make this. I think they get 5 in the trenches on defensive tackle.
I said 5 too, but I will say, and I like this guy even before, right when they signed him UDFA, Fabian Lovett. I know, Rocky, you're a fan, a little bit of a fan. He looked huge today at camp. Like, that dude is ginormous. That dude was standing out among the defensive tackles. And it's, I know he had big arms and hands, but he was even just looking thicker too than most of the defense, in a good way, in a very good way. I think that dude's going to end up playing some snaps. That nose tackle spot's wide open. There's going to be snaps to be earned. I don't think Noddy or Pennell have, they could, someone can come up. So yeah, I'm excited for Fabian Lovett.
Yeah, I think that I think it's gonna be Noddy, Jones, Lovett, Turk. That's 4, and then number 5 will be Pennell. That's my 5 that I think are going to make it, just because I think that, like you said, I Lovett plays stronger than most. He's a man amongst boys out there, and there's moments where he's not the most athletic guys, but there are moments on tape that sometimes are too few and far between where he just takes over the snap and just moves people out of the way and gets in the backfield. And I think that the Chiefs have been in on him since early last year. Like, they flew down to watch him practice at one point. I saw that report, and that early in the offseason, they were interested in him. And so there were reports of the Chiefs being in on Lovett pretty early in the draft cycle last year. So I think that the Chiefs liked him. They brought him in, and I think that he does end up making the team. All right, edge rushers. Who you got for edge rushers, Ron?
Just 4 defensive ends because Charles Omenihu's hurt. So I go Mike Dana, George Karlaftis, Felix Enrique Uzama, and Malik Herring as the 4. That gives me 9 defensive linemen total. And then Omenihu, once he comes back, is 10. I don't think they have a additional D end. I think they just kind of have the 9 guys, and then they'll add him once he gets there.
What about you, Kramer?
I'm in the same boat, especially when Omenihu does get back. I think Malik Herring's the oddball out when he does get back. But, Dana, Karlaftis, FAU, Omenihu.
Yep. I agree. It's funny because it feels like for so many off seasons we've been like, oh, the Chiefs need more edge rush help. The Chiefs need more edge rush help. But with Jones lining up in the edge as much as he does as well over the last couple of seasons too, and the emergence of George Karlaftis and FAU training with Tamba Hali, who, my God, posted a video of him online
that was
doing
sick.
an overhand pull up from hanging from 2 rags or whatever, like 2.
Yeah,
at his age, sign Tamba up. The boy can still play.
Hey, I told him to his face, like, you look like you could still go.
Ass. Holy shit, my boy. Oh man,
he was only a year. He was only a year away from playing with Mahomes, I think. Right? I think he retired before Mahomes. Come on, dude,
come out of retirement. Back. Just do the old school Terrell Suggs, Mike Pennell type move where week 17 just sign with the Chiefs and just go for the playoff run and just be a situational pass rusher. Hey, I know you got a ring for helping out the team this year, but go out and play and get a real ring. What's that on Twitter? All the 49ers fans always said to Mahomes, win a real ring. They always commented that on everything he did there for a while. Win a real ring, and then he did, and now they're still just pissed off. Well, it's the same thing except for Tamba Hali. I consider your ring to be a real ring, but just come back and get another one. Get another ring, Tamba. You deserve another ring. That being said, linebackers, Ron, who you got?
All right, I do have 6 linebackers, which is the number they had last year. I do, sometimes when I think about linebacker, I'm like, they only need 5, right? Like, why do they need 6? But it is important to think about special teams with linebacker. They like to use those guys. So Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil, Leo Chenal, the 3 starters in the base, and then Jack Cochran, backup middle linebacker, and Cam Jones, who was on the active roster last year. That's my 6.
What about you, Kramer? Who you got?
Those guys, I would replace Cam Jones with Bozeman.
Ooh, Swayze?
Yep.
Wow. Spicy choice there, Kramer. I'm going with 5 linebackers because you just spent 30 minutes telling us about how the Chiefs are going to run a 3-safety set as their base defense. And
facts.
And then I don't think that they need 6 linebackers, to be honest. And I don't think that there's 6 linebackers on the roster who are the 53 best players. Right. And so I think that Cam Jones is the odd man out, and it ends with Cole Christensen there. And I'm going with 5 linebackers.
Yeah, no, it is a good point. But I think I think another thing with the receiver position I forgot to mention is like, are McCole and Sky or whoever, like they're not really special teams guys. So like they got to find it from other places too. And so I know Cam Jones, Jock Cochran are big special teams. They were special teams players last year. So
they were. And that's why
Uncle Dave using his presidential status to, get some stuff going,
Well, I think that's where you see guys like Najee Johnson, Nick Jones, Chamari Connor, like those guys are all going to be special teams contributors. Justin Watson is going to be a special teams contributor, as well. So, all right. Speaking of the secondary, though, let's go with safeties next.
I just got 4, the usual suspects: Jay Reed, Chamari Connor, Jaden Hicks, and Brian Cook. Deion Bush is on the team right now, and I think they could probably sneak him on the practice squad.
I think so too. I guess it all just depends on how, like the Chiefs have gone back and forth on how they list Najee Johnson. Is he a safety? Is he a cornerback? Whatever you want to define him as. I do think he makes the roster in one form or another.
Yeah, I would just say I think he is a cornerback now. I think it just seems like he's playing outside corner. Like that's all he played today. So yeah, I think we can just call him a corner for now.
Let's call him a corner. Okay, then I'll go with 4 safeties as well. Then I don't think Deion Bush makes the roster.
I'm in agreement.
You got 4 as well. Okay.
Same
all right.
4.
So let's talk. All right, same 4. The safeties are locked down. They're starting 3 of them. So hopefully there's no injuries right there. And hopefully Justin Reed comes back soon. All right, so let's wrap this up with the cornerbacks. Who you got for cornerback, Kramer?
Clearly Joshua Williams and also Jalen Watson. Trent McDuffie. It's like, do we want to lock him in as a corner for this? It's like I don't know. I'm going with at least 5. And the other 2 I would do would be Najee Johnson and Kamal Hadden.
Okay, Kamal Hadden. I like that. What about you, Ron?
Yeah, well, I have 6, including Nick Jones, 31. Nick Jones is, I guess, the additional one to you, Kramer. But yeah, I do have Kamal Hadden making the team. He made a few, at least maybe just one good play today that I saw. And then Najee Johnson, I do think they like him, like you said earlier, Rocky. I think they want to give him a shot.
Yeah, I think that I have about the same on the defensive backs. I think Najee Johnson makes the list. I think Kamal Hadden makes the list. Kelvin Joseph, is he going to make it? That's the big question, because if Kelvin Joseph makes the team, then either Najee Johnson or Kamal Hadden probably aren't making the team, right? Like that's basically like there's 2 spots for 3 guys right there. Like that's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah, and honestly, like my 10 DBs or 6 corners kind of came from the fact that I only kept 9 D linemen, and Omeni will come back, so I would have 10 D linemen, and in my projection, I would be cutting a corner to do that. Which the more I think about it, it's like, dang, that'd be tough. I don't want to accidentally lose Hadden. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really seen Nick Jones do much, so I know the team seems to like him. So that's probably who I would cut if I had to go down to 5 corners, is Nick Jones.
Yeah, and it sucks because Kamal Hadden and Nick Jones are buddies. Like Kamal Hadden said this week that Nick Jones helped him in the offseason, and they worked out together, and he really picked his brain on scheme and everything. And so it would suck if we lost Nick Jones, and the fact that he seems to be a helpful guy to have on the team. All right, well, and then we got 3 specialists. You got 3 specialists. You got Bucker, Winchester, and Areza. That's our 3 specialists across the board, right? No surprises.
I wish it was me in the long snapper role, but we'll try again next year.
Yeah, Brett, good luck, buddy. James Winchester was snapping that thing back there today. he was throwing that thing back.
Is there a more secure roster spot on this team aside from Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce than James Winchester? Like maybe Chris Jones. Like the most secure roster spots are like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, James Winchester.
He's been on the team since 2013, so yeah, I mean, you're not kidding.
Yeah, like he's not going anywhere. And so well, Ron, dude, this has been amazing. I love having you on the show. Every time you come on the show, I just feel like the luckiest man alive. And you are such a smart dude. You're the preeminent film guru for Chiefs Kingdom. Hell, for the effing NFL as a whole. Like, there's nobody in the game better than you. You're number one. You're the top cop. You're the warden. You're the state trooper. You're the marshal. I like that. You're the marshal. Yeah, F you, Peyton Manning. The real marshal is Ron Kopp Jr. over here. And so, buddy,
you're thinking of the sheriff, dude. I'm the sheriff, man. Come on.
They're the
Marshal,
sheriff.
Either way.
You're all of it. You're all of it. You're every single cop type of thing that I can throw out there. Like, you're all of them wrapped into one. You're the gumshoe. You're the detective. You're the GD Dick Tracy. You're all of them. And
well, no, I really appreciate y'all having me on, man. I'm so glad Foolish Club Media is off and running, and you guys are getting good, positive feedback, because that was the only silver lining from all that stuff happening, was so many people being like, "Where'd the podcast go?" Like, at least it makes us know that there's people out there that listen and care about and follow along. So it's cool. And so really cool that you guys are getting Veach season. Continuing to grow it. So I'm glad I was part of it. Appreciate y'all having me.
Bro, you are always welcome. There's an open door invitation back onto Veach season, baby.
Door's always open.
Oh, yeah. No,
door's always open. If it's not, just jiggle the handle a little bit. I'm sure it'll open. There's an open window, sneak at the back door, whatever. We'll wake up in the morning and find you on the sofa and say, look, Ron snuck in again last night. Let's have him on the show. So,
I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, it was really fun, guys. No, I appreciate it.
All right. Well, guys, as always, thank you so much for checking us out. Thank you so much for rocking with us. And I just hope that we earned the privilege of your time. And as always, leave us a 5-star review and tell us how we did an awesome job. Or if you think we suck, leave us a 5-star review and tell us we suck. Just make sure it's 5 stars. You can say whatever you want to us. We really don't care. That being said, until next week, be good to each other, love each other, and have a great time. All right. Peace.